So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Drayfrjg a call. Now they're bringing on their friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax, it's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello and welcome to Twig's Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Drayfrjg, and here is our cinematically clueless Kraka Corvidea.
It's me. And I'm joined by, I just realized that, we do the introduction for me, but I don't know if we've ever actually introduced you.
I introduce myself, I don't need it. I literally say, I'm your host, Drayfrjg. Do you not pay attention to anything I say here?
Yeah, but, it just feels like you're tooting your own horn. I feel like...
Yeah, I'm good at that.
And I'm joined by my co-host, the cinematically smug Drayfrjg.
I feel like there's another C word we could be using. The C word.
Well...
Cinematically cunty. I'm not a crow.
Whoa, we're supposed to...
I'm a raven. I'm a raven. I'm not a crow. I got blue in me.
Our rambunctious raven... You're not really that rambunctious.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying to think of a film term that starts with letter R.
I can think of lots of terms that start with R. Some of them aren't appropriate for screen.
Not appropriate for anywhere.
True.
Yeah. But, yeah. It's, we're
Ravenous...
how are we already midway through November? How is...
Ravenously... Oh, hold on. I got this. Ravenous Reviewer Raven. There we go. That kind of works.
I don't know.
Got Raven in there twice.
Ravenous for Raven? I don't know. It seems too repetitious for me.
Repetitive reviewing Raven? I don't know. We can workshop it.
We'll workshop it.
But yeah, no, it's crazy to think that, like, in 2 days, it's the 15th of November. I feel like I haven't done shit.
Beware the Ides of November.
But
actually, when people
we're not starting that now. You know what I should do?
People are watching this. It's not going to be. It's actually going
to be this. It's going to be past the Ides of November.
Yeah,
actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
you missed the crow stabbing.
Yeah. Wait. What?
A2 Crovis.
E2 Bentai.
E2 Bentai.
Yeah. If someone's gonna stab me to death, it's definitely gonna be Bentai.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, Bentai would be the last one. You know, Hasio would do it for. Kyoko would probably get the first stab in. Yeah. But yeah.
But if Kyoko gets the first and Bentai gets the last, what do I get?
I don't know. You fourth.
That feels like it's too low on the totem pole here.
Yeah, well, it's not the order of the stabbing that matters. It's how good you get the knife in. Besides, I'm not the one in charge of anything. You're the head of Drake on Industries, so it's like
Draken Industries. You pronounce like the Greek word for dragon, Draken.
Draken. Well, sorry, I'm so
Drakon. They get mad. Listen, they get a little upsetty when I say Drakon, even though without my magnificence, they never would have met.
Look, I get that, but I'm so used to Draka streams that
I get it. It's fine. It's a little bit of a transition time, we've only been around since June. It's understandable. It's not like we've, promoted it a whole bunch anywhere or done an excessive amount of streams, but it's fine. I get it.
Oh, most of the promotion is text. We can't hear you say it, so.
I'm sorry. What was that?
No.
I can't hear you. What did you say?
I said most of your promotion.
Say it out loud.
Most of your promotion of Draken Industries has been through text.
Yeah, and you can't read?
I can read, but
I feel like you just admitted to everyone you can't read.
Look, we speak English. Pronunciation of English words is inconsistent, illogical, and...
It's not inconsistent. There are people who are right, and there are people who are wrong.
Hey, just want to tell you one thing.
Anyone who says Warstub, meet me out back. We're going to fight.
Look, I'm just saying pronunciations, sometimes we get it wrong. Like, for example, the month July and the name Julie. The pronunciations of those two words are definitely swapped.
I disagree.
Julie should be pronounced July, and Julie should be spelled July. Just saying.
I think it should be pronounced Hulai.
Hula. Well, okay.
Hulai.
Can't
Huli.
disagree with that.
I mean, I just feel like our name. Maybe it's just because we've grown up with months as people. But I think our month names are kind of boring.
Well,
I'd rather live with
the ones that start with the prefixes that mean 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th months.
That too. That also pisses me off. We should rename the calendar, guys. I think we should start the most important month of the year with the most important being in your lives, the month of Dre.
I actually think all months should be named after birds, so we could have like Finchuary.
We gotta stop the Aries, all right? If the February shouldn't even exist.
Why not?
Aries is a dumb like Airy or whatever the fuck you pronounce that shouldn't exist.
Okay, so then the months would just be.
You gotta go month of.
It's the 5th of Finch.
Got a month of Dre.
7th of Gull.
Month of Corvus. Month of Kraka. Month of Bon.
Oh.
Month of Bentai. That's the ultimate goal here, folks. Take over the world so you can change the calendars. We're also going to get rid of the 12-month cycle. I hate it. It's dumb. Yeah, makes no sense.
Let's just really cater to the astrologers and just have each sign be a month.
How many is that? 13?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't get into astrology.
I don't either. It's all bullshit and then
Whoa. Look, you're gonna tell me that personality test for the stars is bullshit?
Hey, I'm just saying that any system that purports to make determinations on people's personality based off of nothing more than the circumstances of their birth is inevitably going to lead to problematic and discrimination.
It'd be fucking funny though, like the ultimate gotcha though. You die, you get there, and like Death's sitting there at the other side of the table going, you know what? You shouldn't have like made fun of astrology, man. It's real.
Well, I'll deal with that when that happens. But, I figure an interview with Death would be, easier than one with like a vampire or something.
Oh man, that's actually kind of topical because today, Twig, I've got something for us to sink our fangs into.
Oh my gosh, what?
It's topical. It's Interview with the Vampire.
Oh my gosh, it's almost like I knew that all along.
Almost like our guest, Kraka Corvidea, one of my two besties. Hey, bestie, love you, bye. Chose this movie because it's one of her favorites. Also, like, I can't keep saying it I can't keep saying this every fucking time. I can't. It's one of my favorite movies too. Hey, I gotta find a new word.
We gotta get through some of your favorite movies. It's
Eventually, we're gonna hit a movie and we'll be like, I don't like this movie at all.
Well, okay. Okay, I think I already know the answer to that. Other than Major Pain, what's the least favorite movie of yours we've watched in this?
Honestly, I'd have to think about it. But that's not here nor there. That can be a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Maybe when we find one and watch it. But this movie released on November 11th, 1994, the year that I was born, just to make everyone, feel old.
I was 9.
You were born so much older. This movie was based on the book by Anne Rice of the same name, features Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt as titular stars, amongst a star-studded cast that is most definitely the awakening for many a goth person that I know. Not all goths are vampires, but a lot of vampires are goths. Grossing $223.7 million in the box office on a budget of nearly a quarter of the size, this historic New Orleans-based movie features not just Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, but the likes of star-studded and award-winning cast such as Antonio Banderas, Stephen Rea, I'm pronouncing that wrong, Christian Slater, Kirsten Dunst, and a few other foreign actors, who I will point out to you. Oh no, I can't watch it with you. Never mind. I'll be watching on my own. I'll have to point out to you another time. Oh, no. But there's actually a lot of foreign actors in it that were big at the time and still kind of are, and it's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they did that. It even gained 2 Oscars for Best Art Direction and Best Original Score. It got Kirsten Dunst an award for Best Supporting Actress as well. It is remembered for setting a precedent for having a $70 million budget overall for the first of its kind in that genre as a vampire movie. And it really didn't get usurped for budget until I don't want to say Blade, but I'm pretty sure it's either Blade or the Twilight series.
Only one of which I would actually consider to be a vampire series.
It was Twilight. Blade had 45 million. Yeah,
40
no,
million of which went to Wesley Snipes.
I mean, yeah, man did good by trademarking Blade's look with himself.
And then phoning it in on the third one so hard.
I mean, yeah. At that point, it's like the Underworld movies. If you're still watching after the second movie, you're not there anymore for the plot. You're there for the ham boning. Getting back to the movie though, despite the budget, it actually sat in dormant development, after it got bought by Paramount Pictures shortly after the book released in 1976. So that's almost like a 20-year gap. From when the rights were purchased for the movie by Paramount. It exchanged hands to Lorimar Productions, which actually ended up in Warner Brothers' hands, which I didn't get a chance to actually research why that happened or how it had happened, because it doesn't look like it got sold outright. I think it may have been part of a deal of
Well, I can tell you it's not on Paramount Plus.
You sound angry about that.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Neil Jordan was actually originally tapped to be writer and director. His conditions was that he got to write a completely original script based on the book, but actually gets no credit for writing it at all, because it was not him who got to fully direct it. And it was eventually produced by David Geffen, and it still remains as a highly acclaimed drama of vampires. It sits warm and snug in nearly every vampire lover to this day. I would even go so far as to say if you love vampires and have not seen this movie, you're not a true vampire lover.
I'm not a true vampire lover.
Yet.
I've seen a lot of vampire media and they're fine.
But would you call yourself a vampire lover though? Before I made that, accreditation.
I mean,
requirement.
Would I fuck a vampire? Yeah, but
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
That's the point. They're sin. They're supposed to be sin incarnate, you know?
I mean,
Agents of the devil.
I like the Castlevania games.
I mean, yeah, I'd fuck everyone in that, basically. That, is of age. I'd fuck Dracula. Fuck you.
Okay.
Who says I haven't?
Yeah. He just thinks you're a miserable little pile of secrets, so, you know.
I mean, he's a little miserable pile of secrets, too. Also, his dick game's not that good.
I mean...
Do you know how hard it is to keep a boner up without blood? Just saying.
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
I mean, not very
Pretty hard. Pretty soft, actually. Pretty soft,
Pretty
yeah.
soft. Pretty soft. Okay.
Shit was like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Floppy.
Yeah, we're talking way too much about vampire dicks here, and we need to talk.
I mean, that's kind of it's still topical. Vampire dicks is still topical to the movie, Twig.
Okay. Well.
Okay, fine. So, Twig, why haven't you seen this movie?
Like I said, I'm just really not that into vampire lore stuff. I mean, I was only 9 when it came out, so I kind of missed. I was a little too young to see it really when it came out, and by the time I was old enough to see it, it just didn't interest me.
You never talked to anyone who's like, hey, you should watch this movie with me at all?
No, none of the people that I was friends with were really into this movie.
Minnesota's kind of lacking. Kind of slacking. On making you watch vampire movies.
We're great in many other ways. Minnesota kicks ass.
It's alright, I like it there. I've said it before, I would move back there without an issue. If I had the job that pays the same that I get paid now, I'd move back there without an issue.
All of you TwigCon people should just move back to Minnesota, and then we can hang out all the time.
Let's all hang out in Minnesota. Yeah. It's like the most neutral of states. But going back to the movie, so you haven't seen the movie for one reason or another, mostly pertaining to you have no interest in them. So what about what do you know about the movie then? Obviously, this is a huge movie. It gets talked about a whole lot across a whole lot of different places.
So I know that the framing device is the interview, and it's more in modern times.
but the bulk of the movie takes place in like the Victorian era, as kind of like the interview is the vampire telling the story of his past, and then we see the past, you know.
Kind of like the Titanic.
Yeah, very similar to Titanic in that.
Okay.
Although I don't know, I have a feeling that we're going to cut back to the interview more frequently in this rather than just at the very beginning and very end. But
that sounds like a prediction. We're not there yet.
Okay.
What else do you know?
Tom Cruise is the main vampire. I think. Other than that, in terms of what do I know it takes place in New Orleans.
Obviously, I said that
because you said that.
Yeah, sorry for the spoiler, but
I don't consider that a spoiler. Which actually,
it's in a blurb. It's in the blurb.
That's a plus for me because I fucking love the city of New Orleans. I love its history.
I've never been, and I've always wanted to go.
Oh my god, such a great city.
I want to go just so I can eat my way through it. And I do mean that, by the way. If I ever go down to New Orleans, you're going to see me puking on the side of the street, trying to shovel all the food into my mouth as much as I can, as often as I can. I will be eating the biggest and shitting the biggest. I love Cajun food. I love Creole food. I love fucking seafood so much, guys. I will be shoveling catfish into my mouth like a thing that eats catfish.
Go to a big crayfish boil. Yeah. Anyway,
we're getting off topic. Is it off topic? It's all relevant.
Yeah, it's relevant. But no, we need to talk about my predictions.
Yeah, let's get into your predictions. What do you think is going to happen in this movie,
well,
Twig?
You said the first one could be a prediction, and I'm going to predict that they cut to the interview several times through the movie.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Interview with the Vampire. Takes place. I am going to predict that. Okay, I'm going to predict that we see how Tom Cruise becomes a vampire. I'm going to predict that that's a scene that we get to see. That it's going to be like his origin story, rather than just a tale from his life. I know that Kirsten Dunst is in it.
That's not a prediction.
I know, but I'm trying to think about her character. I'm gonna guess that Kirsten Dunst also becomes a vampire during this story. That's gonna be another prediction. I am going to predict that there is an evil vampire who wishes to control them and also humanity. You know, we gotta have a bad vampire. You know, bad guy's got to be another vampire. I am going to predict that okay, Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst both becoming vampires. It's kind of similar, but I wonder if like one of them consensually becomes a vampire and one of them non-consensually becomes a vampire. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by non-consensually? Like they accidentally created a vampire?
Like turned against their will, you know?
Okay.
One's like, make me a vampire, and the other is like, I don't want to be a vampire. Too bad, I'm going to turn you into one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tom Cruise's is consensual. And I'm going to say, because, you know, in the early 90s we were shitty to women, non-consensual. I'm going to guess...
One more.
I don't know. I kind of want to do two more. I'm going to say that Tom Cruise doesn't want to kill humans. You know, like he like, you know, has to find getting blood another way.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Has to get blood
a little bit of that Twilight going on.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And no scrolling down. And I'm gonna guess I can't type. Kirsten Dunst dies
Oh, fascinating.
at the
Fascinating.
Well, you know,
prediction.
it's just like, okay, obviously Tom Cruise isn't because he's given the interview, but I'm gonna say her character probably dies during the climax. So that's my predictions.
Okay. I think these are pretty solid predictions,
Well,
given that you only know a little bit about the movie.
well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's. I feel like I gave myself kind of easy ones this time. It really doesn't give me the. I didn't really make too many predictions about the overall plot, but that's hard to do. I've found. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm just gonna say this to piss off Crocker right before she gets on with us. Sparkly vampires are better. All right, guys, we'll see you here in a few seconds.
Okay, well, when we come back, we will have watched Interview with the Vampire.
Bye. We're back.
We're back, and Kraka now may immediately begin beating on Drayfrjg for saying sparkly vampires are better.
I would love.
I mean,
to see
I
her try.
haven't watched Twilight, so
Yeah.
I don't really have.
Wow, really?
Kraka's missing
No.
movies.
movies.
Ow.
Crocker
I
watch
never-
terrible movies based on
I
terrible
never
books.
really felt the need
We're quiet.
since I've watched a lot of superior vampire movies.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of. If you've seen any other good movie and you watch Twilight and say Twilight's better, I think you deserve to be slapped a little bit. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
can't have shit in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
No sleep till
You
broken.
guys are so quiet. I'm sorry.
Here, I'm turning.
My microphone's kind of going through it. It's on its tail legs. I have a new
I've
microphone,
turned those two up a little bit. It should be a little bit better.
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
haven't.
boy. This
I
movie.
haven't set it up yet because it's a lot.
Oh
of work.
boy, this movie.
All I have to say
Lay it on me,
is
Twig.
for a movie
Yeah.
that did not have any overt and explicit homosexuality in it, this is the gayest movie I've ever seen.
What are you fucking talking about? It's as
Oh,
overt
well-
as you could be in the Victorian era.
Well, first of all, we all know vampires are hella gay.
Yeah.
Hella bisexual.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
how
well,
many
yeah.
scenes in this movie were there where two men were inches away from kissing each other but don't
Oh,
actually
well.
kiss? It's like over and over and over.
That's-
It's
That's just the
actually-
Victorian era, baby.
Well, also, like in the book, they are like basically as close to hetero life mates you can be.
You mean homo life mates?
No, well, I mean they're life mates. It's not really talked about what they do.
Look, hetero life mates are Jay and Silent Bob. These guys
Exactly.
are fucking.
It's
guys-
just talked about that they live together and they have a child. I mean,
Yeah,
Casually.
It's
You know, just
casually
Raising a
living
child with my
together,
bestie.
raising a child and talking about that it's their daughter. I mean, it's kind of gay.
yeah, it's
And it's not really mentioned if they touch tips or not, you know.
hey, as
I
long
think-
as the balls don't touch, it's not gay.
I
you know?
think it's kind of like an unmentioned thing that they have very strong love for each other, but it is a very complicated relationship, and that's one of the things I actually very much like about it. Because it is a super complicated thing they have going on.
It's,
It's
well,
a toxic gay relationship.
Oh, it very much is.
Come
what,
on,
you're
everyone's
saying that
had one.
Lestat was not a healthy, supportive partner?
He was definitely the
Oh.
abusive husband who came home drunk. You
But
know?
he wanted Louise to have something better because, or maybe not something better, but he wanted like first of all he wanted a life mate because Lestat fucking hated his fucking own loneliness, and he
Same.
was like, oh, you want to die anyway, so why not fucking live through eternity, kind of dead with me.
You want to
And make
die,
him
so why don't
worthy.
you do something that'll make you never die?
And yeah, and why not like live it up with me?
It's
and
one of my
also-
favorite things, you know.
Yeah, and also we can fuck around and find out.
I mean, okay, here's one of the things. Okay, there's obviously this is a movie about vampires, so a lot of it is not realistic. You know, the blood sucking, the turning into the vampires, the vampiric powers, all that technically unrealistic, but you don't care because it's part of the world. The only thing to me that I just kept feeling that was super unrealistic about this is, how are these mass murderers not getting caught or like investigated, or like they would be like some of the most prolific serial killers in Louisiana's history, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of, hey, people are concerned about these hundreds of people going missing.
I mean,
he says
they
like
are alive.
he says like 2 or 3 a night, so it's like realistically he's killing like 900 people a year.
Oh yeah, definitely. They are alive during a time where people just die like flies anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like
And
then
they do aim for people that are not supposed to be missed most of the time, except that one time when they kill like super rich people.
Well, that's the thing. Lestat was just talking
Yeah,
like,
no,
I love high society people.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of like when when Kirsten Dunst kills the fucking rich boy twins, that's also kind of weird. Like no one's ever gonna miss. I don't know, really. Maybe that's just
You're looking too closely at a plot point here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's but the thing is, in terms of like the plot, that's like the
It
only
is-
thing that kind of bothered me.
it
It's
is
like,
the 17 and 1800s. People just died, you know?
I mean, I feel like if I saw a dead body with fang bites in the middle of the neck, they were dead, I would go, oh, this is some evil shit, and then not investigate it any further,
but
because
back
I'm
in
not
the
equipped.
day, people didn't really question shit like that. They were just like,
know
"Oh,
about that one.
that's not my problem."
I don't know. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
how they
exactly.
handle it, but I don't know
Vaughn-
if I don't
Vaughn
know
has
if it
a
was
point.
that.
Vaughn
that
has a point.
murders
That
were
murders
frequently-
weren't frequently. They
Yeah,
weren't.
but okay, here's the thing. There's a difference between being stabbed to death and then someone's body showing up with 4 fang marks in them and no blood in their body. I feel like one of these two things
Probably
is a little
was
bit more
some-
cause of the alarm. You know?
I'd guess.
this sex worker here at this establishment is just lying dead on the table. She seems to have been drained of all of her blood and has bite marks on her wrist. She probably just drank too much.
I think that in a more functional, like when they go to Paris, for example, then when there's an actual coven and there are people working together,
Wait,
in that case,
Coven? Is coven a term for a group of vampires?
they have a vampire coven. Yes.
Okay, I thought coven was just witches, but
Nah,
It's
it's
anything-
a collective term for
Coven
vampires.
Coven is for anything of the dark and mystical.
Yeah, the dark arts basically.
Oh,
The
okay.
theater, the vampire, because they actually have like servants and ghouls that work for them, and they are most often the ones that dispose of the bodies. And I would think because in the beginning, Louis works at owns a plantation, and I think that if he actually kept that, he would create like a huge coven of himself, and he would actually have people who would work to dispose the bodies. But you know, he kind of fucked that up.
Well, there's 3 major scenes in this movie where the solution is let's burn this motherfucker to
Yes!
the ground.
He very much likes fire.
A lot of scenes where a lot of shit
lot
gets burned down in this movie.
There's a lot of fire.
So much fire.
I don't. He's
There's
like,
so much fire!
yeah, he's like, I don't know how to fix this. Just burn it to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's burn the plantation down.
But
Let's
yeah,
burn
that-
half
that-
of New Orleans down. Let's burn half
Let's
of Paris
just say
down.
that is an oversight with this story. Let's just say that. The whole disposing of the body.
I mean, that's an oversight in a lot of vampire stories, though.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
be real. Let's be fucking real here.
It's the same with Bram Stoker's, because in that case they're just like, don't go to the big castle. That's
Yeah.
basically how they fixed it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's
Don't go to the big
interesting
castle where
because-
people end up being murdered by the spooky spirit
Exactly.
that's bringing them all their blood. Okay, that seems pretty easy to do.
And then
Meanwhile-
Keanu Reeves goes there.
And then Keanu Reeves goes there. But then you got New Orleans people walking around being fucking murdered. Like, high society people would not tolerate one of their own being murdered, even if they weren't
No.
liked.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, here's these 2 little white fluffy dogs that have had the blood drained out
Yes,
of them,
I love
and
that
the woman has
scene
had
so
her neck
much.
completely
She's
snapped.
screaming at
Uh-oh.
Louis fucking eating the dogs.
Uh-oh. I didn't realize that was going to be one of the screenshots on there.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Twig!
It's fine because it's not sexual nudity. It's artistic nudity, right?
It's artistic.
It's not.
art.
It's not. No, because there's a provision in the TOS that says that if it's in the game or if it's on the thing, right, and you can't help it, they can't ding you for it.
Yeah,
but that's definitely
have the...
needed to be edited out for the YouTube clip.
Yeah, you can technically have the nudity on in Baldur's Gate as long as you don't fucking prompt the sex. It's fine.
That's why I run around naked with my butt ass out
Well,
all over the place.
I have removed those slides from the screenshot folder.
Hilarious.
I probably should have reviewed those. There's a website that I go to that just has like, hey, here's the top 100 screenshots from
Interview with Vampire.
I don't know how YouTube's gonna deal
Those
with that.
are some good looking boobs though. So I mean,
They're pretty good. They're pretty sexy.
pretty good tits. So if you want to see tits, just look at the movie.
Yeah.
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 So what else? What else? Besides the rampant bodies not being found or investigated, because we've talked about that for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, one thing I just wanted to talk about is like rules of vampirism and like what ones are in this movie and which ones are not. So it's just like they say at the beginning, garlic, no, that doesn't bother us. Stake through the heart, no, that's a nonsense thing. Oh, but we do need to sleep in a coffin.
I mean,
there didn't seem to be anything about you need to be invited into a house. They could just walk in wherever they wanted.
Again, so a lot of vampire myths, right, is all folklore stuff that people will say and tell their children to make their children not fear or panic about, mystical creatures coming to suck their neck at night because
blood.
You gotta get your kids to sleep somehow, right? And that's kind of like what I like about a lot of vampire stuff is like, oh no, this is all bullshit that people tell each other to make themselves feel better. And then one of my favorite things is, yeah, who fucking wouldn't die if you threw a stake through their heart? Like, huh?
Okay, that actually reminds me, in You Don't Know Jack, there was a dis or dat that was peacocks and vampires. And, like, it would say, like, are all male. Okay, peacocks. Have to sleep in a coffin. Okay, just vampires. Drink blood for sustenance. Just vampires. Are killed by a stake through the heart. Well, okay, guess both.
Yeah.
Normally, in most vampire myths, vampires aren't killed by stake through the heart. They're just incapacitated. Is that the word?
Yeah. You do that when they're in their coffin and then they can't get out of their coffin.
Yeah, exactly. And Hasio is right. Normally, the coffin isn't the thing. It is they need to have a coffin either resting on the earth they were buried in, or a coffin lined with the earth they were buried in.
Yeah.
Or where they were turned.
Yeah, because that's how they regain their power. So it isn't the coffin in itself. It's just a really good
But coffins also are pretty
movie because they don't bring their coffins with them when they go to Paris. They'd get on that boat like last second.
Yeah. Some vampires fix that by bringing with them a sack or a jar of dirt. So they always have the dirt of the homeland with them. So they always can sleep on their soil, basically. And the garlic, that is actually an Eastern thing, like an Eastern European thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one also has the, the sun kills them. Artificial light
Very,
makes them
very
uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt them. Let's see here. Turning somebody into a vampire. There's a lot of lore where you can only be turned into a vampire if you're a virgin, which is definitely not the case here.
No.
You just have to... Well, don't you have to be bit by the vampire first, near death, and then drink the blood of the vampire?
Yeah, normally it is bit, drained to the point of almost dead, and then drink from the same vampire that bit you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which we see twice in this movie. Yes. And,
No, we see it 3 times.
Oh, you're right. We do see it 3 times. Yeah, forgot the.
Yeah. Of course.
The third character just doesn't live very long afterwards.
No, exactly.
No, she does not.
Unfortunately,
no, she does not. Which
it is very.
I was kind of hoping those two might get a happy ending, but they sure.
Yeah,
No.
It is a very tragic scene.
I mean, just so you know, it's just because it's the case with every episode, but kind of real spoilers at this point.
Oh yeah.
You're here. You gotta know you're gonna get spoilers.
You're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get spoilers. We.
Too late for
How
that.
do you talk about a movie without there being spoilers? Anyone listening to the show knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, yeah, I thought it was interesting how it started off kind of really focusing on the relationship between Louis and Lestat, and you know, but then, you know, Louis doesn't want to eat humans, and then, but he's just like, I have to. And actually, going to a place where there was the plague was, you know, kind of a good idea. Hey, let's get people that are going to die anyway.
Did you say plague?
Or plague, or what? You know, what was the
Plague?
Yeah, I've learned how to say plague. You said plague?
It's in Minnesota.
You know? Oh yeah, sure.
Like the difference between saying roof and roof, root or root.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
It is pronounced plugly. Plugly.
The Black Death.
Yeah. Anyway, people were sick. It seems like a good place to go kill people.
Yeah.
But God, one thing that I was just surprised is, like, a lot of vampire stories, it's like, okay, they only maybe need to feed on a person like once a week or once a month. Whereas like Lestat's like, 3 a day.
Yeah, but he's also very indulgent.
That's true.
He's not. He's like he likes
to kill.
Fun. Yeah, he does it for fun, and also a lot of vampires gets a thrill from drinking blood. It's like
it gets
I don't know.
High,
yeah, exactly. It's like, and also I don't remember if it's explained in any of the Anne Rice books, but in other vampire media, it's often they choose to drink from other people. They have a specified taste, and they get a different high from different type of people. And it's very evident that Lestat does it because he likes the high he gets from both the killing and the draining. Yeah, so he does it just for the fucking. He's like a fuck sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sucking blood while licking pussy.
So I guess for a few days during the month, he really loves a lady.
Yes. I think he hunts them even more then.
Yeah. Okay, we're moving on.
Double whammy.
He started the whole I can smell your period.
Oh god. He's like a bear.
Yeah.
He's like an iguana.
A shark.
Or a shark.
Ah.
But yes. Yeah.
But yeah, then it was interesting how we introduced Claudia, you know, daughter of God, when that scene though, when he's first meeting them and then Lestat comes in and starts dancing with Claudia's mom.
Oh yeah, that's
it's so bad. So hard.
Yeah, no, I'm always thinking like, how long has she been there? Because her mom is like dead.
That's like more than a week for sure.
Yeah, that's a corpse.
Yeah.
It's it was kind of disturbing seeing that the first time. It was like, what?
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
And Claudia is supposed to be, I think she's in the books she's 6 years old, and I think in the movie she's supposed to be 9.
Yeah,
like 9 or 10.
I guess 9 or 10 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was.
Kirsten Dunst is 11 when they're filming this, but in the books she's only 6, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, when you're saying that she won an award for Best Supporting Actress, and hey, we'll start saying actor, and like, oh wait, no, it's actress because we have to separate the genders when we do awards for some reason, but which is actually good because it does recognize women who probably wouldn't get any because the Academy is sexist as fuck. But that's aside things. She for an 11-year-old actress, she did amazing. And
this was her first ever movie role.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Like
she did really well.
Yeah. It is amazing. Even though there is some questionable scenes, absolutely, but she has spoken out about it and said that she never felt uncomfortable doing the scenes, which I mean, that's good at least.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they got to be really careful about making sure that the child actor is protected, and it's good to hear that she was. And
oh yeah, she says she's talked a lot about it, how she always felt comfortable and how everyone treated her really well. So that's good at least. But there are some scenes that are like, oh my god, they do not treat her like a fucking 9-year-old.
Well, that's the thing, though, is it's like, the character, through a lot of what
Yeah.
we see her, is 40.
Yeah, exactly. She
And, like,
ages 30 years old.
being 40, well, they said it was like 30 years had passed since we turned
Yes,
her, and if she was
exactly.
9, so that would make her 39
she's-
years old. And
Exactly.
it's just like, yeah, being a 39-year-old stuck in a 9-year-old's body would be absolute hell. Like,
And I'd say that she's aged even more because she has been through so much. She's
she's
been
seen some
forced-
shit.
Oh yeah, and Lestat is like, he is training her to be like a killer, a seductress, and a murderer. So she's like, I think she's even more like mentally developed because she is like cunning and she's calculating, which shows.
Well, she'd be very good at ridding the world of pedophiles, that's for damn
Oh,
sure.
definitely. And
That's actually a plot point in the What We Do in the Shadows original movie too.
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
It was
there's
poking
also
fun of that.
there's a character in Skyrim in the Dark Brotherhood who's like that, and she even brags about how she uses her child body to lure in creepy men and then kill them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's also like a difference from the book where it goes, she ages 60 years, which is even worse until she snaps. And that's like, imagine her being 70 in that body until she loses her mind and
I would have
just
lost my
turns.
mind as soon as I turned 18. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. And the way that Lestat still treats her as a child and buys her new dolls every time, and she's like, I don't want a fucking doll. I want a husband and a life. And that always breaks my heart when she tries cutting her hair off and it just grows out again
Yeah.
because she's stuck. And I cannot even imagine how she feels because she's like, I just want to
Yeah.
stop.
You get a
being
little
this."
bit of hair on your neck and you're already fussing.
Exactly. And she can't change anything about herself.
Nope.
And the
That's
way
why-
that at least Louise wants to like help her.
Which
and try
I'm
to give
so
her
glad
something
that, like, it was very much often stated, no, Louise loves her as a
Yes.
daughter, not a lover,
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah.
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 Yeah, and he
it-
tries to at least treat her somewhat like a human being, while Lestat is just using her as a toy, basically. And it's so obvious because anything he does, he just does for fun. And she is just miserable, and it breaks my heart every time I see it.
Yeah, she's a very, very tragic character.
Yeah.
But it's just like, even at the end then, when she finds the person who
Oh,
lost
yeah.
her daughter, and
The
it's just
doll
like, well, you'll be
maker.
my mom and I'll be your daughter. But even then, it's
Yeah.
just like, she's still forever trapped in the role of
Yeah.
child daughter.
And the way she says it, give her to me. And I'm like, oh god, that is bad. Stop. You can't speak about people like that.
yeah.
You owe me this.
But
Come
the
on,
nice
give
thing is that there's a lot of
me.
really fucked up of stuff like that in
Oh,
this movie,
yeah.
but it's never
yeah.
glamorized. It's always
Oh, no.
like very much presented. So it's like we talk about the problematic stuff in this movie, but none of it felt like, here's the thing: is
Idolized.
depiction is not endorsement, and I think that's
Mm.
something that a lot of people with their media
Miss.
literacy need to get a little
Yes.
bit better at.
Agree.
Like, I know
I
there's some
think that's-
controversy about this young adult novelist, and people, before the book even came out, people were taking, sentences from it where people were saying horribly racist things and being like, look how these horrible things she put in her book. And it turns out, well, yeah, because it was the bad guys saying those things, and them saying those things was to establish they were the bad guys.
No,
Oh.
Twig. You have to understand. Marvel did something dangerous and pathetic to villains, and that was making them slightly relatable, and
Oh,
then
yeah?
never following up on the why is this guy a bad guy properly, right?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it.
That's why it's just like
they do
Warmonger
well.
is completely right in Black Panther, but then we need to have him do something really horrible and atrocious to remind us that he's the bad guy.
But then they missed the whole point of how, why his ideals were bad and why he wasn't actually going to do any of the things he said he was going to do. This isn't just Killmonger. It's just an easy example to point at. right off the top of my head because I was reading about it like the other day. But no, there's I don't know. There's media literacy has gone down the toilet, along with a lot of other skills with people for various reasons that we'll not get into on the show. But one of the things that kills me the most is people's media illiteracy, especially when it comes to movies and stories, and then also their tolerance for things. Like you said, like people will dunk on someone who makes a villain, an actual villain, who does bad guy things.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's one of the things that I really, really liked about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, is that it had 3 villains, all of whom, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears were complicated, not evil, but opposed to Puss in Boots. Death was an unstoppable force of harm, but not really evil. And then you just have Jack Horner, who is just completely unrepentantly evil, and he's so delightful.
So goofy! I love him!
You can also, the thing that a lot of people don't get is that you can like a villain for being a villain, right? It's perfectly okay to be like, this guy's a villain, and he's a good villain.
Yeah, like Scar. Scar is one of the best Disney villains. You know he's a bad guy from the very first time you see him. He's unrepentantly evil and selfish, but that can be very interesting.
Yes, like when we were kids, people were fighting to play as the villain because that was a cool character.
It's when you start idolizing that character.
Yeah, you don't want to be
going,
them.
I want to be that person. No, you don't want to be that person.
Well, you want to be Ursula.
Yeah, because she's a fucking queen.
A drag queen.
Yes, and she has fucking moray eels as pets, and that's cool.
But yeah, it's just like you think about all the characters that are like the classic Disney villains. None of them are sympathetic characters or twist villains. No. They're just, we're the villain, and that's what we are.
Yes.
Some of them are sympathetic. Some of them are sympathetic villains.
Not Gaston.
Not Gaston, though. He's
okay, of like the classic Disney villains, who would you say is sympathetic?
Maleficent.
Yeah, Maleficent.
She didn't get as someone who does not like not being invited to something. I get it a lot. And in fact, if someone ever spurred me that high, like if I was a big important witch to the king's rise of power, right? And I did get an invite to his daughter's wedding. Yeah, you fucking bet your ass I'm gonna lay some curses on people. That's
one day I just didn't get invited anymore.
Yeah, I've been known to berate people for less. Yeah. I get it.
Whereas
I get it.
The witch from Snow White is all just like, someone's prettier than me, death to her.
Also, I get that. When someone's prettier than me, the first thing I do is I go out and curse them. Well, it's just how it is, baby. It's this business.
Luckily, we had TwigCon, and you were the prettiest person there, so...
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I would have gone very south if I wasn't.
Especially on Renfest Day, I'm telling you, Dre slays.
I'm always slaying.
I know that Dre slays, just that Dre doesn't believe in themselves, that they slay every day.
No, I don't. Because if I was slaying every day, they'd have caught me for murder. Ha!
Yeah, God. But not unless you're a vampire, then apparently you're murdered.
Caught me. All right, I'll stop now.
Yeah, stop.
But yeah, then one thing that really wasn't in my predictions at all was them finding a society of vampires, and
exactly.
And then Antonio Banderas being hot and like
very gay.
Very
Armand,
gay. Oh my God, Armand is so gay.
Armand,
he wants you.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to be wanted by Antonio Banderas? Let's be real.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, bringing it back to Puss in Boots.
Exactly. And actually, that's also a thing that, in the books, I'm gonna refer to the books because
we get it. You can read.
Yes, and
we get it.
I said, this movie, when I saw this movie for the first time when I think I was 10 or 11 or something like that, and that stoked a fire in me that still burns to this day when it comes to vampires. I got obsessed. I've watched this movie at least once every year since that day. And my brother taped over this movie with a hockey match, and I never forgave him. But after I saw this movie, I consumed anything vampire I could get my hands on, including everything else. When they released Queen of the Damned, I was so hyped, and then I saw the movie and I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
But in the books, after Armand frees Louise, they actually travel together for several years. So they actually become hetero life mates afterwards.
Stop saying it like that.
Just
They're
say-
homo life mates.
I say it to annoy you. Yes, so they actually
They're
become
gay as fuck.
Yes, they become partners afterwards.
They have the gay
until they part ways when they meet Lestat again.
Yeah.
So Armand is even more gay in the books.
It's even gayer. Yeah,
Yes,
If
he's
it-
an
if
icon.
Such a thing is even imaginable.
If it's even imaginable. Yes, he's so handsome. That long black hair, oh my god. When
Yeah.
he turns around and you can
Okay.
see it like draping along his back. Oh.
When I was
Ah.
watching
wanna
this
pull on
with, so I ended up watching this with my girlfriend, and she really liked this movie, but we were kind of having a question: who's wearing a wig and who's not?
Oh,
Tom Cruise
everyone.
definitely
everyone's wearing a wig, I think.
Tom Cruise
Everyone's
was definitely
wearing a
wearing a
wig.
wig. And
No,
It's
I
the
mean
only way to make
everyone.
some of their hair as thick as it was.
yeah.
No, I can tell you everyone is wearing a wig.
But
Literally
yes,
everyone.
Some wigs were definitely better than others. Like,
Yes.
because we thought for a second, it's like, did Brad Pitt actually have? Because
Oh,
Brad
yeah.
Pitt has had long hair, but you know.
Yeah, but the what do you call it? The hair of the time, because he's wearing like very elaborate, like, what do you call it? Like vintage hairstyles.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah,
Well, this
those are
was
great.
definitely more early 1800s. I thought this was going to be more Victorian, which it kind of gets
Oh,
a little
yeah.
Victorian near the end, but it's
Mm.
like.
I
mean,
think
okay, when was the official start of the Victorian era? Is it 1850s or 60s?
When Queen Victoria took over.
When did Queen Victoria take over?
I have no idea.
1692? Pretty close to one?
1837.
Never mind, I was very far
Oh.
off.
So they
Yeah.
consider the Victorian era to be 1837 to 1901.
That
And
feels like a very short amount
Louise-
of time for what I think the
Louise gets
Victorian era
turned in
is.
1792, I think.
So this starts in pre-Victorian to early
Yeah.
Victorian is when we see these flashbacks.
Yeah, and he travels around for 200 years.
Why do I always think the Victorian era goes back to like the 1700s forward?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No,
but why do I
always thought
think
as
that?
Victorian is like the Victorian and the Wild West take place at the same time, just across. Well, they do.
They kind of do. There's an overlap.
Yeah.
There's an overlap of many
There's
periods of time
Many
that
periods overlap, yeah.
yeah, in that same time frame that you go, huh? When you think about it, like the Heian era of Japan happens at the same time as the cowboy expansion, as the same time as the
Oh, yeah.
Victorian era, and
That's
and then you think about the Ottoman Empire and its rise and
Mm.
collapse, and then you think about the
Yeah, then you're like,
Asian,
oh,
Asian
when-
warlords are happening too at the same. The Chinese warlords are happening at the same time around then too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, turns out the Dark Ages was only for parts of Europe. Turns out places in the Middle East and India were having huge advances in technology and
Enlightenment
mathematics
era.
at that time.
The Dark Ages is only called the Dark Ages because we have literally no information about what was going on then. Or we
Yeah.
have limited information.
It's like I think it's more accurate when you call it the Middle Ages, because it's just
Dark is indicative of like
Yeah.
nothing happened, but a lot of
Yeah.
things actually happened during that time.
the
Yeah.
Middle Ages
Well,
is way more.
You get
Right.
those pseudo archaeologists who are like, how could these Indian people have possibly made this without advanced science and mathematics? And then like the answer is because they had advanced science
Yeah.
and mathematics.
They were
Because
fucking advanced, bitch.
how could somebody whose skin is not white possibly have created these technological marvels?
Oh
It's
my
like-
god, yeah.
It's like, yeah, the whole entire pseudo archaeology thing is just racism. This is just racism.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like how it did kind of show the progression through the ages of going from like, you know, revolutionary area up through Victorian era and
Yeah, and then when they come to Paris, it is basically after 30 years. So that would be in the beginning of the year. Yeah, 1820s basically. So that is after 30 years. So because he gets turned in 1790-ish.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So that is like at the beginning of the Victorian era, like
Yeah.
right before.
Yeah, well, and you can see it
That
kinda
shows.
Yeah, through
You
the
can see that,
clothing styles, and I mean, I
yeah,
love the costuming in this movie. The
yes.
costume direct, like I'm guessing that it at least got an Academy Award nomination for wardrobe.
I guess. I don't know.
I
Right?
no, it was art direction. I don't think it
Okay.
was wardrobe. It was art
It
direction.
was and music, right?
Yep, music and art direction,
Music,
and then best supporting actress for
Mm.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the theater they do. Like
It's so
when
good.
they cover it up as a theater, but everyone just fucking kills people. So
No,
that's the
I'm
way.
actually being murdered. Everyone in the audience, this is such good acting.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my god, the effects.
Yeah, but you forget that this movie actually did win Best Picture at the MTV Movie Awards.
Oh hell yeah, the most important award.
With,
Yeah, I forgot MTV had movie awards.
Brad Pitt
Yeah.
won Best Male Performance. Kirsten Dunst was Best Breakthrough Performance.
Mm.
Brad Pitt won Most Desirable Male.
Hell yeah. I mean, understandable. This was like the peak of his career.
But we talked about last episode, like there should be an Academy Award for like best is best casting an award?
I don't think so.
Because it feels like there should be an award for best ensemble cast.
Oh
And
yeah.
I feel like this movie would have been a winner if not a strong contender. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's important, where you can't just have one really great performance, but if you have like a whole cast where everybody slays, that should be
Oh, yeah.
acknowledged.
Yeah, I get it. Like the whole collaborative thing where
Pers-
everything just works together.
I think they need to add another acting category for best comedic performance. Honestly, they do, because like comedy acting is hard.
Oh yeah.
So hard.
Yeah,
It needs to be
like being a
recognized.
good comedic actor
Dre,
is hard.
are you asleep over there?
Sorry, my mom texted me something important.
Oh, okay.
Apologies.
Oh,
Or are
is it
you
a
playing your
correction?
fucking-
Is your mom watching and needs to send a
No,
correction about something?
no,
you missed?
please do not even make me panic like that right now. Stop.
That would be funny if we had like a little corrections and omissions thing at the beginning of episodes about like.
Oh my
or did,
God.
We
like,
can do
little
that, we
mini
can do that.
episodes.
We can do that on the year anniversary. We can just go back and be like, all right, we got these clips of all the times that we fucked up or said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna acknowledge Footloose.
Never talk about Footloose.
Well, gotta get loose, foot loose, and it's Sunday, so we gotta kick off our shoes.
I don't wear shoes.
None of us do.
We all have bird feet.
We all have bird feet.
Ah!
All right.
Oh my
show off
God.
Bird feet. Show off the bird feet. Show off the bird feet. We gotta show off our bird feet. Yeah. Dre's not participating. It's
I'm
fine.
hiding.
I don't show my feet. I'm not a slut.
Yeah, but I am. We all know
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Well, you say that. You say that, but I was just gonna say I could just make that go away and expose your feet.
Ah!
Expose your feet.
Stop
Exposed.
exposing me!
Ah!
I'm filing a sexual harassment claim.
Who's HR?
I think Hasio. I think the H in HR stands for Hasio. I think HR stands for Hasio rules. You know. Yeah. But yeah, we've talked about this movie to death, and I think it's time to move on to
Our
Yes.
predictions.
Our
Well, your
Oh,
predictions. I
yeah.
should say.
yeah. So let's
Prediction screen.
You want me to move?
No. You can say just put. You're fine where you are. Go back to where you were.
Yeah, you're fine. Well, you can move yourself up a little bit. Just
Go
don't
to the
block
strike
bottom.
mark on the floor.
There's
Yeah,
no
that-
mark
we
on
we
the
put
floor.
a piece of tape on the floor. It's your mark. You need to move.
My
Stay
feet
there.
are too big.
I don't know why you're crouching down. You're doing like the Russian squat. I don't know why you're doing that right now, Kraka.
Oh,
but-
that's just my culture.
Okay. So let's see. They cut to the interview several times throughout the movie.
They definitely do.
They
Mhm.
definitely do. So that's a green one. Green.
Okay, so now we go to this next thing. These next two ones, I say Tom Cruise because I thought Louise
Yes.
was played by Tom Cruise and Lestat was played by
Yes.
Brad Pitt. So for me,
You kind of
these
had it
predictions
right.
were about the Louise character, not
Yeah.
so much the actor.
Yeah.
So
But
I
you
figured
said
I
the
feel like
actor. You get a halfie.
I get a
Yeah.
halfie for the first one, but the
Mm.
second one, because it's the same thing, I feel like I should get a full for the third one. Because that's just me making the same mistake I
Yeah.
made in step 2.
Like the full
Yeah.
one is if that would have been Louise, it is fully correct because he fucking eats rats.
And chickens. Don't forget the chickens. Hundreds of chickens died, guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I believe I deserve a
that
green
is a
on this. I believe I
reoccurring
deserve a
thing.
green on this one because
Sure.
Yeah, if we just said
For me, that
Louise.
was just me getting the actors swapped, and I
Yeah.
don't think I should get hurt on both of those for that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Kirsten Dunst also becomes a vampire
Yes.
during the story and
that's
non-consensually.
green.
Yeah, she didn't really
That
have
is
a choice
correct.
in that.
That is very correct. She has no idea what's happening.
Yeah. And also, she's under the age of 18, so she couldn't have consented even if she said she
No.
wanted it.
Yes, a
Yeah.
little baby.
Also, there's an entire rule set of not turning children in the
Oh
movie.
yes, that is also.
We
yes.
don't turn children. Even vampires, guys, aren't
Yeah,
fucking pedophiles.
that's one of the reasons why they want to kill Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's essentially a mercy killing.
You
at that
cannot
point.
kill a child. She must be
Also-
at least 12 years old.
Also, why he, also because he and fucking Kirsten Dunst murdered their sire. That's also a
Which,
punishable offense.
actually, she didn't.
Yeah, well,
fair,
they didn't
We
know.
just thought she did.
Everyone thought he was dead.
Okay, we
Yeah,
didn't really talk about
they-
Lestat coming back at the end, and I kind of low-key loved that.
They read Louise's mind and was like, which is like, oh, okay. We didn't mention they could read minds, and now they can read minds. Okay.
Yeah.
We just never brought up the reading minds, the dark
Yeah.
gifts all that much, except for when it was convenient for the story plot.
Yeah, they have like the whole chapel of the dark.
What was Louise' dark gift? It's not really mentioned in the movie all that much. I can't remember if it was in the book or not.
No, it's not really talked about so much.
Bullshit.
Maybe it's not very developed. It's not very
giant
old.
His dark
penis.
gift is having a soft butthole,
And his
Um,
dark gift is
penis.
crying a lot.
crying a lot.
Yeah.
There's an evil vampire who wishes to control them and also humanity. False.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that
one,
that's
I
not
mean, there were
correct.
vampires that were antagonists, but not
Yeah.
really in the way that I
That's
predicted.
practically right. You know, you couldn't rule the world for half a day in most places.
Yeah,
or
no,
more.
they're actually very happy being where they are. They don't want to control anything else but that.
Yeah, they just like, we want to live underground and
Yeah.
do our thing. We're not megalomaniacal.
Yeah. No.
Kirsten Dunst dies at the end. Not
Fair.
really
Well,
at the end, but
not
close to
not
the end.
at the end, but
Okay,
she
I mean, she dies in the third act. That's
yes, she the bottom half of the movie. yes, she
So
dies.
that's a passing grade. I think that's actually one of your better
Absolutely,
passing
you
grades.
did really well.
That's
I think that's your
definitely one.
highest grade so far.
I think
You did
so.
really
I think
well.
so.
Give yourself a pat on the back as best you can with your wings.
Good job.
All right, I'll try.
Just slap your stomach. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so now, Twig, the most important question of the day: did you like this movie, and are you glad you watched it?
Well, let's bring up the old tier list. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say, based off of this discussion and what we've been talking about, that yeah, I liked this movie. I liked this movie a lot. It was really fun. Good writing, good acting. Yeah, there's still some problematic stuff, but you have to look into the lens of this was made 30 years ago.
About a time period that was much farther back.
Yeah, and written as a book even further back than 30 years. So I give that stuff a pass because, you know, you have to. Context of the time matters, and if you want to see what it would look like in a modern frame, there's a Netflix series, which people are saying is very good, and I probably am going to check out. So, yes. Now, worth watching once? I don't think this is worth watching once. I would absolutely watch this again. But now the question is do I put it up in amazing movies there with Mars Attacks, or do I put it down as just pretty good watch again? It's definitely borderline crossing that. It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision because I look at the movies and the pretty good would watch again. I liked it better than all four of those movies, but I still think I liked Mars Attacks a little bit better. But you know what? I'm gonna put it up here. Second best movie we've done. I would say it's an amazing movie and absolutely. I mean, it's some of the most fun I've had watching a movie for this show, and I definitely will be watching it again at some point. And I would like to actually maybe watch it along with you too, and we could just like watch it and have a good time, and you know, yeah. So
Hell yeah.
So, Kraka, thank you very much for picking this movie and having me watch it, because
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you for liking it.
Why do you say it
makes
like
me,
that?
That makes me feel very accomplished.
Did you say welcome?
Yeah, she said welcome.
You're welcome.
Why? Say welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, say welcome.
Welcome.
They're the same word. God
if,
damn it.
if Twigs allowed to say plague, I'm allowed to say welcome.
Plaid.
He's not allowed to say plague. We gave him shit for it.
And you're giving me shit for saying welcome.
Look, people say that when I say root instead of root, I say, well, do you say book instead of book?
Yeah, but at least it's your first language. It's not mine.
Yeah, Kraka
That's
gets
true.
semi-pass.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, you know, I live up here in the land of Minnesota, don't you know? And we
That's
are
more
all-
North
Yeah.
Dakotan. What are you doing?
And
It's
I
close.
live up here in fucking Sweden.
And I live up here
Well,
where it's
I
fucking
mean,
cold.
We do have
We-
a lot of
we got
there's
snow.
there's
We
a lot
got
of
snow
Scandinavian
today.
descent in descent.
Oh
Yeah.
god,
Descent.
don't talk to me about fucking
Descent.
Scandinavian descendants.
Well, there's a lot of them in
Hey, man.
Minnesota, like
They gotta have their
like
Viking
Anderson,
blood, alright?
Johnson, you know,
There's
all the
no such
sons.
thing as Viking blood. You want to start this discussion with me?
Yeah, I love triggering you on these things. If you can trigger me on shit, I can trigger you on shit. That's how it goes. You're taking off the glasses.
The
Oh, no!
glasses are coming off.
Oh my!
It's time to
oh
fight.
boy! Oh boy!
Time to fucking fight. Time to fucking get it back here.
I don't like it when you two fight.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Go to your room.
I'm gonna shit on your car.
Mom and Dad, please don't fight.
No!
Mom.
Get back
bitch,
here.
bitch.
Bon, can you get in here and break this up?
You wanna hurt Corvus Twig?
Don't stand on Twig's head.
You wanna hurt Corvus Twig?
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Then stop it.
Yeah.
All right, fancy bird.
Oh, you just mad because you don't
I am.
have all the cool toggles? Can you waggle your tail? Can you waggle
No.
your
Yeah,
tail? I
that's
can waggle my
exactly
tail.
what-
You waggle your
Kind
tail?
of.
Yeah.
What kind of dick measuring contest did I end up in?
It's cloaca
mean,
measuring.
If we're doing lore accurate bird sizes,
It's
it would be
true.
this.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Crow on a.
Don't stand on me! Ew! Oh, stinky!
I'm
Stinky poopy feet!
just gonna hang out in the popcorn. I'm hanging out in the popcorn. It's warm
Right?
and buttery. in
Okay,
here.
put your full model up here real quick. I need up. Put no. Just raise your. You're doing it wrong.
What do you
That
want?
was- I need you to
What?
put your full show your grippers.
Yes.
This is lore accurate size.
What? Are you? You're either a giant raven or she's a tiny person.
I'm a giant raven.
Dre
That's
is the giant raven.
That's the whole point of my why I
You're
say hi
basically-
raven
you're
and not just
basically
a
the s-
raven.
You're like a large turkey.
Because we're a blessed line of bird, and we are bigger because we need to be bigger.
But I am
to survive
also
birds
very
and giants.
small. I am known to be a small.
Have you ever
How
seen what
many
happens?
centimeters
to a crow?
tall is the Kraka character?
Kaka is
Canonically.
154 centimeters.
Okay, that's not that short.
No, but I'm a big bird, and I keep telling people this. I'm just
Yeah,
a
but
big bird.
You're a big bird.
even Bond's model is technically taller than Kraka's model.
I'm a large turkey. You take that back right now, or I'm not feeding you turkey dinner. Don't call me a fucking turkey.
Bond is technically taller than Kraka. With
Well-
Crocs. Yes, with Crocs. Without Crocs.
Anyway, the end of this podcast has gone completely
Yeah,
off the rails.
uh,
So thanks
Well,
everybody for watching. I've been your host,
Wait.
Corvus Twig.
And I'm your host, Drayfrjg, and just a short plug, you can catch Croc and I in about 30, 40 minutes or so, maybe less.
I need to eat dinner.
Yeah, we need to eat, so give us like an hour? You think?
Yeah.
But
An
if
hour,
you're
and we're going to be
following-
having Drake a day, playing some Dark Tide for a couple hours at least.
If you're not following Drayfrjg and Kraka, you should do that. And if
We're
you're
two
watching
parts
this
of the
on
Kraken.
YouTube, please like and subscribe because I would like to actually
Your likes help us.
Your likes help us, and it'd be nice if like people typed an interview with a vampire on YouTube and this video actually came up on the results. Like that would be cool.
Yes.
But yeah, Our next episode is not yet decided, but hopefully a week from today we'll
Yep.
let you know.
And then we'll be going on about a month hiatus because I will be away from my apartment, visiting family for the holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but when we
December
come
might be
back,
a little
we
dark,
will
but I'm
have
hoping to have some extra content of my
Content.
own, maybe.
Content.
Maybe I can get hell on Sunday dusk. That would be cool.
maybe.
Anyway, thanks for watching. All y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh shit! I just realized I haven't found a raid target. I should probably
You didn't
do
find a
that.
raid target. You're just ending. You're just fucking ending right now, bud. Da 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 da.
Lampies.
Da 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 da. Mother,
Yeah, the music's over, but I can't raid yet. We can raid
Ah!
5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, of course, Lampies.
Oh no, they're on a break.
This is cringe.
Cringe.
Cringe son.
Cringe.
Cringy son.
No cringe.
Oy vey.
Damn it! I should have raided hell.
Yeah, it's their birthday today. And they're looking at Christmas shopping.